a little, intro to the show.
All right, new CD time.
Wait
first.
It's not on yet. Done. Redirecting to YouTube. And I think we're on. We are on.
Cool.
Are we on?
Go ahead.
So new material today. Manny, I think you'll appreciate this, but I had this CD in my younger days, and I really enjoyed the well, here's the CD. It's Stone Free.
Stone Free, I got that. Yeah, actually, it's pretty good.
I heard the cover that Chris Cornell did of Hey Baby, and I was like, oh man, I love that track, and couldn't find it on iTunes, so I got it. $5.
Seal and Jeff Beck do a great job.
That's a great one too.
Yeah.
Now I did I not only got the single CD of this Best of the Beast, but I ended up getting the double CD too.
Okay, I do stuff like that, so I can't criticize.
All right.
I didn't know they released that in a juke case.
I do like stuff like that all the time.
They did after that. I guess they sold out of they went out of print on that boxed copy. But yeah, so plus it takes up less space in the CD case. And oddly enough, the album we're talking about today.
Oh wow.
Because this is the only version of the album that's got All Fired Up, which was supposed to be on twin turbos, but never released. So the 30th anniversary of Turbo, not on it, that song. So
oh well, I don't think you're missing much.
What's that?
I don't think you're missing much.
Well, it's $5 on Amazon. Finally, Amazon has something affordable.
Although people do not like these versions with the silver thing around them.
Why is that?
Yeah, why is that?
Because
I like them.
They're okay, but the remaster is a little
tinny.
Why is that?
Tinny sounding, yes.
And
there's new ones now. Then apparently they sound better. Well, actually, yeah, all those remasters that they did.
Yeah, which I stream all of them, but there are certain reasons why I purchase out of print stuff only.
Yeah.
Is because
most of the time it's cheaper.
Well, not only that, print, no, not really.
Those are more expensive. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, like this one had like the one track that's not available anymore. So to me, it's like, okay, that's valuable right there. I mean, to me at least.
Yeah.
But I ended up finding a copy of Seventh Son, the Castle version, which is currently en route from France.
Oui. Very cool. I was able to get all those at some point. When they just came out, I had like maybe 4 of them.
I could see them all right behind you. It's in the.
You're wrong because they're over there.
No, it's right behind you.
No, Judas Priest.
The Judas Priest ones are right there. Yes,
that's what I'm talking about. What are you
Iron
Maiden?
To? Iron Maiden.
Oh, the Castle reissues.
Yeah.
Oh, you have them all.
I have all of them. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Never bought that. I did. By the time I started getting their CDs, they're already gone. They were already on whatever label they're on. Yeah.
I mean, there's only one reason.
Ones.
There's only.
But
one
I do have the
reason
Best of the Beast, but mine is in a clamshell when it first came out.
Yeah, yeah, I got that one too. But
there's only one reason why I bought Killers.
Too.
Why I bought the Killers Castle reissue, because it had the most songs on both discs.
I'm gonna go on.
Yeah.
I mean, disc 1 only had 3 songs on CD 2. Number of the Beast only had 3 songs on CD 2. Peace of Mind had 4.
Yeah.
Power Slave 3 or 4. Somewhere in Time actually had 4, but when we'll talk about Somewhere in Time, I'll discuss those. And and the only other 2 discs that had them the most in terms of quantity were Seventh Son and Fear of the Dark. So, but I like Seventh Son, so I'm willing to get that.
yeah, that's cool shit. I love those reissues. It just sucked when they started getting hard to find there.
Yeah, I remember they had Iron Maiden. If you bought those Castle, you could get the limited edition Soundhouse tapes on CD, and that would have been cool to get that.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I actually
like
got
3,000 times.
I got it.
Yeah,
I do have it, but it wasn't because of that.
Lou, when you get your CD, see if they still have the order form in there. You won't be able to buy it, but it'd be cool just to see it.
Actually, you know what?
Like you just did with the Screaming for Vengeance, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It wasn't for the Castle reissues. It was for the other reissues, the ones that had the slipcase on the CDs.
Oh, see, I didn't get those either. I got one of those, but that was it.
Is that the one that came with statues of Eddie?
No, that's the ones where they came
Walmart.
with. That was the ones where they came with like extra videos on the CDs.
Oh, that's right. CD-ROMs. That was a big thing for like 3 minutes back then. Yeah. It didn't last.
To me, the songs are of the highest quality. So it's like, give me more in terms of quantity of musical outputs. I don't need all that extra stuff.
Right.
Besides, I have my Eddie.
You do.
Oh, I bought one of those this week. It's up there somewhere. But
very cool.
Yeah.
I think Wayne's got them all.
Of course.
Yes, of course I do. Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
I got some.
See, he's got a room for that. I don't have a
Not really. I'm running out.
All right, what you got?
It's really bad here. This is actually. I wish Greg was here to see this because he knows Tom Croxton. You know Tom Croxton? He was in the band. Actually, he was in Impaler, and he was with Thor for a while. The drummer. But this is his old band from like way back in the day, and they just re-released this album. It's called Acheron. I never heard of him either, and then he posted about it, and I checked it out on YouTube.
Never heard of him.
And it's a re-release, so I grabbed that from him. Tom Croxton. Go friend him on Facebook and get a.
I'm going to try going on my phone. I'm having an unstable internet connection here.
Oh yeah, we know how well your phone went last week.
I think he's coming off fine.
Yeah, it's not bad here.
Manny, it's coming good on our end.
Okay, then I'm not going to fuck with it.
Yeah, you're fine here.
Nope, there goes our monetary. I got to stop cursing. Go ahead.
We're not monetized yet. We're we're on 180 subs away from it.
Right.
We need to be because we're fucking cool. Anyway, go ahead.
We're cooler than a lot of people on YouTube.
Other vidcasters, Manny don't like you, and you know what? We side with him.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I got to hang out with our singer, Alex Rapetti.
Alex Rapetti of the Mighty Tension Rising.
Yep. And our friend Stan. We went out, and Stan wanted to go to Looney Tunes over in Babylon. And usually I don't really buy much because I don't really need too much stuff. But I knew there was a couple new albums out that I haven't bought yet. The new Creator. Oh, I wanted to get that one. The new Yorn Land.
I thought they just put one out last because I bought a Creator.
This one just came out like a few months ago.
Creator seems to put out a lot more stuff now
Uber
than they ever have.
Alice. So
because it was live. It was Destruction that I got a new one. It was Digipack, which I hate Digipacks. But
I don't mind those. The new Yorn Landy, Over the Horizon Radar. Got that. I'm a big Yorn fan.
That title makes no sense.
Yeah, that's title.
Yeah, I don't know what that even means.
By the way, I bought a Yorn or whatever the hell his name is because of you guys.
Yeah.
I saw it used like it's all these cover tunes. Yeah, it was
okay. Yeah.
Metal Radio or something stupid title like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was pretty good.
His it's okay. I like his original stuff better.
No more covers albums ever. No more.
He's got a few of them. He does a lot. And Weezer Summer. I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for that, but
that's a Weezer album.
I like Weezer, man. I
like Weezer too, but that does.
They're doing something weird. They're like putting an album out for every season. They did spring. This is summer, and I guess they're gonna do winter and fall. I don't know.
So I've been collecting them slowly. I got the Black Album or whatever the hell it's called recently.
Black Album? Metallica?
That's what it's called. Weezer, the Black Album. It's just got a black.
Weezer. Oh, I didn't know we were still talking about Wheelie. Yeah, that album sucks.
Oh, get on. It's all, dude. It's Weezer. I mean, they all sound kind of similar. How can one be better?
They really went weird on that one. They started incorporating like some kind of like hip hop type stuff. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Now you sound like an old man, Wayne. Yeah. You sound like get off my lawn, Wayne.
Listen, when you hear Weezer, you expect Weezer. It just doesn't happen with that album.
I must confess, weird too. The last Weezer album I listened to was the red one.
Well, I love Van Weezer. They incorporated, I mean, the name alone, but they would incorporate riffs from well-known songs, on purpose on there.
Right. But we're not talking about Weezer today. Screw Weezer. We're talking about Iron Maiden. We're talking about Judas Priest.
Let's start up the intro.
Go the intro, Wayne.
We're not talking about Ram It Down.
We're not? Well, I listened to it for no reason.
Ram it down next week.
I thought we listened to 2 albums today. I guess not. Huh?
Oh yeah, I feel so sorry for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No reason.
We'll be right back.
All right.
It's time for Let's Sell and Review with your hosts, Wayne Moon, Greg Narlow, and Lou Max.
Oops, I hit the stop button by accident too soon. Doesn't matter. Welcome to Rat Salad Review. I'm here with my colleagues Manny and Lou Mavs.
Every time I hear that theme song, I just think of a room full of green cloud smoke. Kind of like my experience yesterday at the Jimmy Buffett concert.
Oh my God. I should kick you off the show for that.
Those parrot heads know how to party. Holy cow.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, we're not joined by James or Greg tonight. They're both feeling ill, so we wish them well and get better soon.
Yes.
Right?
Doesn't love you guys.
I think we do that, right?
Yes, you do.
Well. Yeah. So yeah, the show's not the same without them, but it's better. So tonight we're gonna talk about Turbo, right?
Yeah.
Right? Am I doing the right albums this time? Turbo.
Yes.
Turbo, right?
You didn't list that one for no reason. So
okay. Well,
nice
I kind of did. And Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time. Oh my God. Ready?
Let's do it.
Judas Priest, Turbo.
Yeah, do it.
The 10th studio album released April 1986. It reached number 17 on the Billboard Top 200, the band's highest charting album until 2005's Retribution, which is kind of strange. I guess everybody was excited that Rob was back, so they went out and bought that album. The original, yeah, of course I did too. We all did.
I did, yeah, of course we did. But anyway, go ahead.
The original idea was to do a double album called Twin Turbo, where one half of the album would be more commercial songs and the other half would be more aggressive songs. That idea was scrapped. So what we got instead of Priest being the trendsetters, they were now following the trends where synth sounds and drum machines, electronic drums, were becoming popular. They also ditched the leather and went for more colorful clothing. Doug Johnson would again be chosen for the cover art, and the song Reckless would have been chosen to be in the movie Top Gun, but the band declined it, seeing they thought the movie would flop. Good thinking on that one.
Womp, 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 womp.
And the album also featured songs played in a lower tuning than E. It's the first time. So
this is true.
Some cool things with this album, but I don't know about this album. I mean, I thought I did like it, but after listening to it this time, I don't know if I like it as much as I thought I did. So for the most part, I do like the album, but this is really where the experimentation began. And if you didn't like Dave Holland's drums before, now I would have to agree on this album because every song is mid-tempo and there's no varying speeds. And if
I didn't even know Dave Holland played drums on this album. It sounded like a drum machine.
Yeah.
I thought it was a drum machine. No, he gets credited on it, but
he gets credit. Yeah. So if you're looking for double bass drums and fast songs or two, this is not the album for that. But yeah, I don't know. He was credited for drums and he probably did, but I think on the next one was the one where people say he didn't play on it at all.
He definitely didn't.
But then he swears there's like a song or two that he did play on.
Yeah, I mean, he gets credit on it, but it doesn't sound like him at all. I mean, it sounds like a drum machine. Anyway, exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, it sounds like something they would like make a demo to, and then they thought it was okay and just left it. So it was weird. All right. So with that said, the song Turbo starts the album off, and right when the drums kick in, you wonder, who is this? Because usually Priest starts off with the ripping opening track, and here we get this song that's basically keeps the same beat and pace throughout the whole thing. But that doesn't make for a bad song, and it's definitely in my top Priest songs. I don't mind the synths, and they were used well. Really like the solo, and the chorus is very catchy. Then we get to Locked In, and we see where this album is going. The chorus is cool, but the lyrics in these verses are just really bad and cheesy. It's basically no different from what the pop music was writing about at this time, and it really doesn't fit with Priest. Private Property, again, there's some catchy parts here, like in the pre-chorus, but it's not that great of a song. One thing I thought was funny, there was hand claps. And remember back like in the 70s songs, they would actually do the hand claps. And this song, they used like the electric hand clap. So they like basically gave up. They just let electronic machines take over their sound.
Well, maybe they were taking a nod to the Sweet. They used to do that all the time with Fox on the Run and all these songs. Anyway, go ahead, Wayne.
I don't mind the claps, but just use your hands. Keep the realism in there.
They're Judas Priest. They don't need to use their stinking hands. Anyway, keep going.
We got machines that do that now.
Little Willie.
Parental Guidance. I actually like this song. It's a very happy, poppy rock song sounding, and it's fairly catchy. Rock You All Around the World. Now they made another anthem yet again, but instead of trying to do some chanting type thing like they did in the previous ones that they've done, this one's actually a song. And I think it finally worked. Even though it's really repetitive, I'll take it. It's a fun song. Out in the Cold, I like this song as well. Wild Nights, Hot Crazy Days. This song is okay. Again, I hear a lot of AC/DC influence, especially in the verses. Reminds me of something from the Brian Johnson era. Hot for Love, I can give or take it. Reckless, the best song on this album, and another one of my top Priest songs. I love how Rob sings on this, where he changes his pitch in the middle of the lyrics. Also, just a catchy song all around. Sucks it had to be at the end of the album, but it's worth to wait for it. And they ended the album on a high note. Manny.
Okay. Well, when Turbo first came out, I was 15 or 16, and at first I hated it. What was amazing is the people that liked it, like my then girlfriend, her preppy friends, these guys had no use to Judas Priest till then, and it worked. Not just the music, but the look, because they like you said, they changed their image a little bit. It was still leather, but it was really it was glam metal or pop metal or hair metal, whatever you want to call it. I bought it anyway, and I grew to like the album because I saw the tour. But that being said, I used to, I've had mixed feelings on it, but overall, I like the album. The title track, Turbo Lover, is great, still in their set to this day. I don't know, that song shouldn't work in their current set, but it's good. I like it. Locked In, like you said, it's like if you're curious to hear what Motley Crue would sound like with Rob Halford fronting it, well, you got your wish. Locked In actually is a decent song. Lyrically, again, they're really going for the prize. They're really going for that radio play. The lyrics are dumbed down. You got me locked inside your love, Lord. Anyway, Private Property. Again, I like the song, but the lyrics, it's missing that tongue in cheek. Actually, it is tongue in cheek because, you could tell Rob Halford is just not taking himself seriously.
Right.
No, hands off my private property. Which is pretty funny, actually. Yeah. Overall, not a bad song, but you can tell these guys, again, we're going for radio play. Parental Guidance, I kind of like that song, though I shouldn't because it's so stupid. Right. Here they are, 30-year-old men singing, no, we don't need no. I hope not, Rob. You guys are 30-year-old men. But that being said, it was, I think, written in response to the PMRC. That was going strong. But again, it was written for the kids, literally, not their older audience. It was written for the kids. Right. At the time it worked, now people forgot it was a single.
Yeah.
Rocking All Around the World. Oh, my God.
It's a better anthem song. It's they finally got something that's kind of singable.
That's like saying she's like the hottest woman in the royal family. It doesn't count. Actually, they have some hot ones now, but not before.
It's better than that other song from the last album, Defenders of the Faith. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. Really. Okay,
we don't talk about Defenders of the Faith anymore.
If that's your standard, then this is Stairway to Heaven. Okay. But Rockin' All, it's okay. I think it was written by someone else, a Twisted Sister or Motley Crue or any number of those pop metal bands. I probably would have liked it better. Being Judas Priest, it's okay,
Right.
Out in the Cold, I think is excellent song. That's right there where they show their songwriting chops. And it's got an emotional kind of content to it. Mm-hmm. It's mature. It's well written. It's definitely Judas Priest, and they make that sound work in there where it's still pop metal-ish, but it sounds like Judas Priest. And I think that's the only time. Hot Nights, Crazy, whatever. Hot Nights, Crazy Days. Yeah.
It makes me think of Crazy Nights from Kiss.
Yeah.
Not as good.
I prefer this to Crazy Nights.
Really? Oh, I love Crazy Nights.
The song.
I love Crazy Nights.
Talk about repetitive.
I like it too, but I don't want to hear Judas Priest singing about Hot Nights, Crazy. Right. But what were they trying to get? A song on Miami Vice? That song sucks. Hot for Love. All right, Rob, we get it. You're a bit horny during this tour.
Well, actually, before they recorded this album, Rob went through a lot of problems, and especially with his boyfriend or whatever,
right.
committed suicide and everything.
Suicide.
Went to rehab because he was alcoholic and drug addict or whatever.
Yeah.
So
it's like the happiest Priest album written around the darkest circumstances.
Right.
Maybe it was therapeutic for him. Who knows? I hope so. All I know is I'm glad Rob Halford got out of it to the other side. But Hot for Love, it's an okay song, but it's definitely an album track, and I would definitely consider that a filler track.
Right.
And Reckless would be a great song with better production. The only thing that really, in my opinion, kind of hurts it is the production. I mean, that whole album screams 80s. The whole album is definitely aiming for rock radio, and much to the credit, it succeeded. So overall, believe it or not, I like the album a lot more than I thought I would, especially revisiting it. I do enjoy it. It's not one I'd reach for very often, but for what they're trying to do and for what it is, it's pretty good. I would say it's better than most of the pop metal, hair metal albums that were out there. But being Judas Priest, being good isn't good enough. And maybe that's the issue. Lou.
All right. So I remember long time ago, back in 1986, when both of my brothers owned copies of this on cassette. And, I remember listening to it and, thinking to my 6-year-old self, I'm like, it's almost like Judas Priest made like a kid-friendly pop metal album.
Made kids pop.
And it was like a cooler kids pop.
Right.
I mean, at least it had the Judas Priest name on it. So, to me, that made it much cooler than, buying a cassette of Captain Kangaroo's greatest hits. You know what I mean? I'll take this any day. But, Turbo Lover, it's like, to me, that's like I was made for loving you. It's like I could see how some fans
perfect, actually. Yeah, go ahead.
I could see how some fans may have been turned, like especially diehard Priest fans, may have been turned off by it when they first heard it. But let me tell you, the last 2 times I've seen Priest in concert and they played this song, everybody was singing it.
Yeah.
And you had like the biggest, like, muscle gutted, mulleted biker screaming, "I'm your turbo lover." I mean, like, come on, so obviously the song has stood the test of time. So you got to give it that credit. I enjoy it.
I think it's a good song. It's always on the radio.
Personally, I don't know if I would have chosen this as the opening track. Maybe the opening track on side 2, but not on side 1.
What would you switch it with?
Yeah, what would you have selected?
Out in the Cold.
Oh man,
ballad.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a ballad, though.
It's a crushing ballad. Let me tell you, on the Priest live album, when they opened with this, it sounded amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm so sad that the last time Priest were in New York, they did a 2-night stand at I think it was a 2-night stand at the Paramount in Huntington. They brought it back. And it's funny because I was like, okay, if I go to see Priest this time, it'll be my 3rd time seeing them on the same tour. So like I'd already seen the first 2 legs. I'm like, if I see the 3rd, is it really going to be that big of a difference? Yes, it was, because they played Out in the Cold. They played Halls of Valhalla. So I was pissed because I didn't get to see those. But I mean, Turbo Lover, it's not a song that I could take or leave. I'll definitely take it. Is it one of my favorite Priest songs? No, but definitely, definitely a good Priest song. Locked In, cheesy, but everybody likes cheese. Who doesn't like pizza? It's all good. Private Property, pass. So Parental Guidance, you mentioned the music video, Manny. I remember seeing the video. My cousins taped MTV onto VHS, and this was one of the videos that was on it. And seeing all these people, in the audience, and seeing my first case of cleavage in those videos was a very harrowing experience for me. Thank you, Judas Priest. Thank you very much. You were a Playboy channel for me before I knew about the Playboy channel. Rock You All Around the World. I actually like this song. I think it's a better anthem than Take on the World or United or whatever they tried to pass off on Defenders of the Faith. My favorite Priest album, mind you.
I think that's Wayne's take on the song too, right, Wayne? It's a better anthem than what the ones they tried to make into anthems.
Yeah, they finally made one that makes sense.
Out in the Cold, my favorite song on the album. It's funny because this album came out in 1986 not when hair metal, I hate using that term, so I'll just call it pop metal. It was at it wasn't at its apex, but it was definitely like right between the middle to the top of that what's the word, that trajectory. And if you think about the bands that they, not that they were touring, I think they actually toured with Dokken, funny enough, Wayne. But you think about the other bands that had material out at the time, Motley Crue still hadn't done Girls, 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 but Poison had just come out with, Look What the Cat Dragged In. Kiss was they're still touring behind Asylum. And, you have one of my favorite movies actually came out from in this year, a movie called The Wraith, which is the only Charlie Sheen movie that I could ever really watch from start to finish. I don't count Ferris Bueller's Day Off because he's only in it for 5 minutes. The Wraith was about I guess you could say a ghost that came back from the dead to chase down the people that killed them. It was basically The Crow with a Dodge Turbo Interceptor is basically what it was. and it was cool because an album like this would have been a perfect soundtrack for it because it had that futuristic car look and violence and car crashes and it would have fit. And but On the Cold I love. One Night Hot Crazy Days, it's a dumb song, but I like it. I exactly. Yeah.
What, you like it because of the vocal? Because Rob Halford does sing his ass off on that song. Is that?
Well, I'm a sucker for melody.
Well, that definitely has a melody. Yeah.
And to me, it's even if it's really well thought out, or even if it's boneheaded dumb, to me, if the melody speaks to me, I will like it. And it could be a harder edge band doing lighter material or a harder edge band doing whatever. I mean, if I find something valid in terms of the melody, I will like it. And I do like this song. Hot for Love, man, and Reckless, good closer. So
I love Reckless.
And you brought up 1986, so Tesla's first album, David Lee Roth, Eat 'Em and Smile.
Mm-hmm.
It's Cinderella's first album too, right?
Yeah, Night Songs.
Yeah, Bon Jovi was, I guess, huge.
Well, they were on their way to becoming huge because that's when Slippery came out.
Yeah, okay. So, in some ways, they were a little ahead because they're using guitar synthesizers, which I never heard of till this album came out. They definitely aren't like Hot Nights and Crazy. They definitely are not afraid of a hook, a pop hook at that, because that one they went all out. And the other thing that we forgot is there's no outside songwriters. Like Kiss at this point started using outside songwriter. Actually, they always have in some capacity since the mid 70s, but Aerosmith, when they made their comeback, would start using that. My point is that these guys could write these types of songs without any help. Do you think the Judas Priest name and the reputation being at that time, remember it's 1986, Metallica is still underground or about to burst out. Slayer, just released Rain and Blood. So that type of metal hasn't just hit the mainstream yet, except to fans like me. Do you think the name and their image hurt the album from being even more successful, you two guys?
No.
No?
Why would it?
Because they were already arena sellers, they were already headliners, and they were, don't forget, Priest had done the US Festival. Priest did Live Aid. Priest was on daytime MTV. There was no
there's no getting huger than is in. Yeah, that makes sense.
At that point, no. I mean, and they had gold and platinum records.
Right.
So, I mean, at the time, it wasn't just how many albums you sold, but it was also how long did you stay on the Billboard Top 200? And they were constantly touring the States. So, I'm not saying that the album is of Dark Side of the Moon type numbers, but, while they were touring behind those records were selling. So,
yeah. And not only that album, but their back catalog. I just wondered if, because, I mean, they were still young men, but they were in their 30s by the time they made this album. Mm-hmm. Lyrically, what I find interesting is these men, especially Rob Halford, who I'm assuming is the lyricist, he's such a smart guy, and yet he writes lyrics like private property. I mean, if you see him in interviews or even read his book, he's a very, very forthcoming, bright guy. He's not, he's not Vince Neil. He's a well-read guy.
That's a very good comparison.
I think a lot of it had to do with the record company pushing them to go this direction too.
Yeah, they probably were. But they did a really good job, despite what everyone may think of the album. If you look at it from an objective point of view, forget the songwriting or whatever you want to, they did a really good job, and they did it on their own. And they use, I believe, Lou or Wayne, is it Tom Allum producing this one too?
It's Tom Allum, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing that the same production team, they all went this direction. Anyway,
it's funny that you brought. Oh, I'm sorry, Wayne. Man, it's funny that you brought up Motley Crue because, when I hear what I'll chalk Turbo down to is this: it's the best pop album that a band like Judas Priest could have written. That still I think it still maintains their integrity.
Oh, I do too.
I mean, granted, yeah, they did this to sell records, but who didn't? Greenbacks were flowing everywhere back then, and it's like, I mean, come on, this is the first time you were seeing Judas Priest in commercials promoting their record, with the stupid credit card thing, I never leave without my Turbo card. It's like,
oh yeah.
Oh.
That really happened.
That really happened. Yeah. You got to YouTube it.
Yeah, Wayne YouTube it.
It is on YouTube. But I mean, but that's the one thing that also, you could take what Judas Priest does as tongue in cheek, because when you listen to Rob Halford speak, like in interviews, I mean, he exudes wisdom, he exudes intelligence, experience. I enjoy watching interviews with him. I love the first two Motley Crue records. After that, it's like a couple of songs I like here and there, but for the most part, it's blah to me. Whenever I hear someone like Vince Neil talk, and all I hear him talk about is drinking, girls, and driving fast cars, I mean, it kind of leaves him as so one-dimensional, that it's like it's kind of hard for me to be able to relate to them on anything. Like, I'm sure I could sit and talk, J.R.R. Tolkien with Rob Halford, and we can have a whole discussion on, Lord of the Rings. I'm pretty sure I'll try to have that conversation with Vince Neil, and he asked me, where's the nearest strip club? It's like, I'm at a different point in my life where it's like, I just don't find that impressive anymore.
Yeah. And when I was a kid, I do like Motley Crue, like you. And
That's
I'm not
strange. You don't like girls and drinking, but you like hobbits and elves.
Yeah, well,
That's a little weird.
Talking about me or Rob Halford?
You. You'd rather talk about hobbits and elves than girls.
Well, I'm married. I'm dead to the world. I don't need to talk about girls. And I'm raising a daughter, so it's like, you know, I'm done. I'm done.
Well, I'll tell you what Motley Crue and all those bands sold to me was a fantasy of that life, you know, to me, and I bought into it. And I think, I mean, we've talked about this in another episode, but when you talked about grunge and did it kill hair metal? No, me getting older killed it, because I wanted to listen to music I can relate to. And I can relate to Soundgarden or even Nirvana lyrically, or even Alice in Chains, even though my life was never that dark, thank God. But, but
we all feel that way.
Yeah. But as much as I like Motley Crue, and I'm not selling Motley Crue or Rat or any of that stuff down the river. I like it. I still like it. You know, I just my taste broad. Anyway, my point is that, you know, they sold me a fantasy, which I bought into as a kid, but I got older. I wanted a bit more realism. And maybe that's with this album with Judas Priest. I mean, Judas Priest would delve into the occasional fantasy lyric. I mean, Sentinel is a perfect example of that. But there's a realness to a lot of their lyrics. You could tell there was some life experience in some of their lyrics, you know. Also, they have a sense of humor. And a lot of these bands I felt did not. And Judas Priest definitely have a sense of humor. Even on this album, like I said, Private Property. Anyway,
this album is full of sense of humor. You have to have a sense of humor.
Yeah, but then, like, you know, you take a song like The Sentinel or like The Painkiller, where it kind of tells a story about a central character in dark times where it's like it's a matter of life or death and like how they choose their path. Yeah. So to me, it's like you could kind of relate that to real life situations on a daily basis, whether it's like someone who's in recovery and, you know, like they're taking their steps one day at a time to make sure they never touch that drink or that drug again, or someone who's overcome tragedy. And it's like, you know, staying focused on positive things to, like, you know, not go down a dark path. You know, I mean, you could take like the more fantasy elements of Judas Priest and kind of relate them to yourself, which is what I've always loved about them. Like, I get empowerment from Priest lyrics, you know?
And I think that's one of the reasons they were one of the few bands, ironically, along with Iron Maiden, that were respected by, you know, the so-called grunge guys who supposedly hated everything. It turns out they liked a lot of the same music we did. They just didn't admit it. But, you know, them and Black Sabbath were definitely held in high esteem by a lot of the Seattle guys, and Kiss, ironically, which always.
You know what's funny? And I just found out about this on the first Nirvana album, Bleach.
Yeah.
You know how it's in black and white, right?
Right.
Well, if you invert the colors, you can kind of see what's on the amplifiers, because somebody has like a sticker on the amplifier and you can't really tell what it is on the original cover.
Yeah.
What is it?
Invert it and it's a picture of King Diamond.
Well, that makes sense. They were fans. They were fans.
Would have never thought anybody from Nirvana would be.
Well, Kurt Cobain himself was a huge fan of Celtic Frost.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that should tell you something. You know, I mean, one of the things that I appreciated about Kurt as a person, even though I'm not really a Nirvana fan, but I'm not going to deny his contributions to, you know, having kids pick up a guitar just to like strike a 3-chord song that, you know, that maybe push them to want to, you know, practice more and get better, you know. But back in '93, when he found out that Madonna was charging $50 for concert tickets, he was flabbergasted. He was like, he can never think of charging that much to perform. You know,
he'd kill himself today if he saw the prices.
Oh,
Thankfully for my Ghost tickets, I only paid for $35 each. So
really?
But it's nosebleeds. But, you know, I mean, still.
Well, if Kurt Cobain had lived, who knows? Maybe he would have done that Grunge of Love or something. Who knows? We just don't know. But
hi, my name is Mary Lou. I love Kurt. No.
Yeah, but the concert tickets have just gotten way. I mean, Eagle tickets, what people are paying for that, which is amazing to me. It's not like the Eagles need any money. I'm not just picking on them. We can go down the line on any band, but
it's not just them. I mean, you know what it is? It's
exactly.
concert tickets, it's like, you got to pay the crew, you got to pay, the roadies, you got to pay the merch people, you're renting, excuse me, the arena for the night. So there's all these costs and whatever. I don't think most of the times it's the bands bringing up the price. I just think it's like, the fact that inflation, which has been predominant in the music industry for so long, everything just costs more. So they have to find ways to make up for the losses. So
also the loss of royalties, since that's not what it used to be. So,
well, not only that, I mean, everybody else around them is raising their rates. I don't think the rate of what it costs to rent an arena out like the UBS arena, it's probably more now than it would have been 20 years ago. So
I'm sure that's true.
I mean,
all these costs. Ticketmaster just added another fee.
For what?
Talking about Ticketmaster.
Yeah, what did they add a fee for? For what?
I know.
Let me get my wallet.
Just talking about Ticketmaster.
Well, let me get my wallet. Listen, I have 1, 2, 3 more pitch boxes. Altogether, it's worth about $150. Is this good enough for you, Ticketmaster? Right here.
Devil Dozer. He loves Turbo Lover, and he loves the video too. Turbo.
I love the video.
Turbo was his first Judas Priest album, and his older cousin gave it to him, and it was on tape as well.
Devil Dozer, you have a good older cousin.
Man, that's interesting. That was his first Judas Priest album. Wow.
My first one was Jugulator.
Oh, you're a weirdo. But anyway.
You really discovered
I discovered them in, with the with Ripper Owens, but I just never really bought one until then. I was intrigued by like Rob Halford's Gone. What the hell do they sound like now? So I just bought it.
I bought it for the same reason. I was a fan, but I actually liked the album now, but when I first heard it, when we get to that album, talk about dumbed down lyrics. But anyway, we'll get to that eventually.
Murphy says Ozzy tickets 1986 was $12.50. Oz tickets 2004 $125.
So that's almost 20 years. That's 10 times the Jesus Christmas.
It's crazy. It's insane. But we're not talking about Ticketmaster. We're talking about Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time.
All right, go.
I think this is my favorite Iron Maiden.
Up the irons.
I really think it's my favorite one.
You think it's your favorite Maiden album?
I think so.
Wow.
Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time, the 8th studio album released September 1986, was the first album to feature guitar synthesizers. Ooh. The cover of Somewhere in Time, created by the band's then regular artist Derek Riggs, displays a muscular cyborg enhanced Eddie in a futuristic Blade Runner inspired environment, much like the cover of Power Slave. The wraparound album cover holds a plethora of references to early Iron Maiden albums, such as the street sign on the corner where Eddie is standing reads Acacia, a reference to the song 22 Acacia Avenue from the Number of the Beast album. And then below Acacia is a poster of Eddie from the first album with graffiti reading Eddie Lives written on it. And a torn poster also features on the Sanctuary and Woman in Uniform singles, just to name a few. I'm not going to read them all because this album cover is insane. This is the best Iron Maiden album cover ever, because just everything is
the most detailed.
Detailed. You could just sit there and just look at it. Caught Somewhere in Time. Let's see here. What a great opening song. You also hear Maiden going into a more progressive type music with a lot of changes. We also hear Maiden now using the synths for the first time after swearing they wouldn't, but I guess the joke was on us. But they wouldn't go as crazy with them as Priest did, and kind of use them almost as a third guitar and added some more depth to the music. Definitely one of my top Maiden album openers. Wasted Years. The opening guitars make the hair on my arms stand up, because I still remember hearing this song played live for the first time, and I was just excited to hear that song. But another great song and a staple Maiden song that they still play every once in a while. I think it's kind of like rotated in the set, right? They don't play it all the time. Yeah. Sea of Madness, another song I really like. Some of the off-pitch things Bruce does. I could hear James right now complaining about how they really don't work here, but they do. I love how Bruce goes off a little bit, and I really like the chorus and how Bruce sings how Bruce's vocals flow in that chorus. Heaven Can Wait, another song I can hear James bitching about because of the chorus being repetitive, but besides that, it's a great song. I like how Bruce sounds like he's trying to keep up with singing the song along with the guitars. The Loneliness of a Long Distance Runner, one of my favorite songs on the album. It's one that doesn't get mentioned much, but there's so many great parts to this song. The intro, the chorus where the music speeds up and the guitars have that melody thing going on. Then the song goes on this long journey of guitar solos in the middle, and at the end, the song speeds up. Just a really cool song with a lot of stuff going on. Stranger in a Strange Land, I'm realizing while listening to this that this must be my favorite Maiden album because this is another song that I like. My favorite part is the build up in the middle of the song before the chorus. Deja Vu. Guess what? I love this song too. Yeah, James, the chorus repeats, but you know what? Who cares? And this one actually kind of works with the title. Alexander the Great. What a great ending to the album. As if Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner wasn't enough for being a great epic track, they upped the ante with Alexander the Great. The song is shorter, but there's so much going on here, and the storytelling just works so well with the music. There are some lyrics where they felt like they were forced, but they got it to work. But we listened to this at work today, and it just reminded me how great of an album this whole thing is, and how much I love this album. I just love the sound of it, and like I mentioned, every song is just really cool. And it's actually my first Iron Maiden album ever that I ever got.
Better than Jugulator, thank God.
Well, way better than Jugulator, yeah.
Oh, by far.
Yeah,
by far.
Well, maybe.
No, okay. You want anticipation? All right.
Later.
All right. So it is definitely one of my favorite albums by Iron Maiden, and probably one of my favorite albums that came out of the 80s, whether it's heavy metal alternative. So you guys are on my Facebook, I like everything practically, but this is really a great album. Like Judas Priest, they experimented with guitar synths, but they didn't go overboard, thank God. It still sounds like Iron Maiden. It's definitely a progression from the previous album. Just great songwriting. Wasted Years, lyrically, even as a young kid, don't waste your time searching for those wasted years. Realize you're living in your golden years. I mean, anyone who says that heavy metal or hard rock is a negative influence on its listeners, I've never bothered listening to it, period. Great riff from Adrian Smith, who I believe wrote it. One of you correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. He did.
Yeah. Sea of Madness, a great song. And I actually like Bruce Dickinson's vocals on it. I like how he's reaching for that note. You don't think he's going to quite get it, but he gets it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Ian Gillan and Deep Purple. They don't sound anything alike, but those guys are not afraid to take chances with their voices. Heaven Can Wait. I would probably agree with James if it was on here. It's definitely repetitive, but I still like the song anyway. Lyrically, it's all right. I thought it was based on the Warren Beatty movie, but I doubt it. I hope not anyway.
It's not.
Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner, which is based on I don't remember if it was a film, a British film about a long distance runner. One of the many songs based on a film. Unlike Quest for Fire, this is actually good. It's a really good song. Well written, and it shows the beginning, or they always had it, that they're prog rock influences that they've always talked about. And this song definitely displays that. Stranger on a Strange Land is a great song. Deja Vu, to me, that's the filler track. It's not terrible. It's better than filler, actually. But compared to everything else on this album, I guess
like you've been here before.
Yes.
Do you feel like you've been here before?
Oh, absolutely. Haven't you?
And like I did in the episode of Screams from the Grave when we discussed this, I am not acknowledging such a stupid statement from Wayne.
I did it like 6 times on that episode.
Yeah, I was ready to kill you.
And Alexander the Great, I think, is a better epic than one.
I still like Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, but
I do too. But that one bordered on pretentiousness. This one does not.
No, it's shorter. It's only 8 minutes.
So. Yeah, it's not just they don't have, thank God, a spoken word part in it.
That song was long enough for Nico to take a dive in a pool during the middle break. So it's a fact. Yeah. They were playing at an arena one time, and right behind the drum set was a pool. And Nico's like, I'm gonna go swim in this pool right now. And then, like, right as the bass line was about to break, they're like, Nico, you're back on in 1 minute. Oh, crikey. And he runs back, and he's Australian. Like, Cor blimey.
He's Australian. You didn't know he was Australian?
That's like crikey's an Australian thing, whatever. But anyway, so then he gets back to
bloody
playing his
hell would have been better.
Fine, bloody hell. And then he runs back to his drum set and he doesn't have his boots on. So he's playing and his foot sliding off the bass drum pedal.
Oh yeah.
He's dripping wet from the pool. This house is roadie. Get me a bloody towel. And he had to play barefoot with the towel.
Hey,
Mikey, give me a towel.
Crikey.
Overall,
Murphy,
strong album in my opinion.
Yeah,
Lou,
definitely. Let's just read some comments here. Murphy saw Priest with Ripper. It was killer. And Murphy says one of his favorites too, I guess, is the Iron Maiden album. All killer, no filler. As his favorite Maiden song, Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. Yes, that is an awesome song.
I wish they'd kind of bring that out again. Maybe they will one day. Anyway.
They did bring it out with them when the somewhere on tour first started, but it wasn't going over well, or they weren't performing it as well as they would have liked to. So I think they dropped it in place of Wrathchild, I think, or something like that. They it seems to be the go-to track every time they drop a song off a tour. I don't know.
Oh my God!
They brought back Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. That's what they did.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
The only two songs from this album that Maiden never performed on tour were Deja Vu and Alexander the Great.
So they never.
And every time they go to Greece.
Yeah.
What's that?
They never performed Alexander the Great live?
Never.
Oh, that's
every time they go to Greece, the Greek fans think they're gonna play it, and they're like, they start singing at them, Alexander the Great. And Bruce always has to say, no, not this tour, maybe the next one. But what I love about this album, it combines two of my favorite things: Iron Maiden and science fiction. You can't get a better Blade Runner sounding album than this. And the fact that Doctor Who's TARDIS is on the back cover of this album, it just brings joy to me. But 1986, I remember my brothers got each their own cassette copy. We'll listen to the album so much, but how he didn't wear the tape out, I have no idea. First album since Number of the Beast that doesn't have one songwriting credit from Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't think about that. Was there a reason for that?
Yeah, because apparently by the time the World Slavery Tour ended, he was so fried that he needed to take a break, and he was actually hoping to go more towards like a prog direction. Well, even like acoustic.
He was writing acoustic songs. Yeah.
And Steve Harris was like, no. So in actuality, like, this is the first album since Number where the credits solely belong to Steve Harris, Dave Murray, and Adrian Smith. But damn, does Adrian Smith shine on this record?
Yeah, my God, he does. Yeah.
And it's funny because I'll go through the tracks one by one first. So Caught Somewhere in Time, killer opener. Wish they would still play it, but haven't played it since the Somewhere in Time tour. So doubt they would ever revisit it, but definitely one of my favorite Maiden opening tracks. Wasted Years. I like the song, but I'm burnt on it. Like, it's not a song that I would put on a playlist. But when I saw Maiden perform it live, I was jovial about it. Adrian Smith has a side project with Richie Kotzen of the Winery Dogs, where they actually perform Wasted Years live.
Oh, wow.
And the way they perform it, they're detuned to half step. So instead of playing the song in E standard, they're playing it in E flat standard. And Adrian sings it.
Oh, I was going to ask it. It's not Richie Constant sings it on live. It's
no, but Richie's singing the high parts. So he's singing Bruce's part in the chorus, and Adrian is singing in his register. And I tell you, it's one of the best versions I've ever heard performed of Wasted Years by any band. So, I definitely recommend people check it out. There's videos of it all over YouTube. In fact, when they played in London, Nico joined them on drums. So it sounded pretty cool. And Richie's wife plays bass for them. Sea of Madness, love this song. I think it's criminally underrated. But you guys are talking about the pitchiness of Bruce's voice. Like, what did you mean by that exactly? And maybe I'm not hearing it.
I don't think it's pitchy. That was Wayne. I think
it's not that it's pitchy. It works with the song. The guitars are like maybe a step higher, and Bruce is like off key a little bit, but it works with the key. Like they're two different keys, but they work well together.
I mean, I can see what you mean by he dips in it a little bit.
It's not in a bad way. I like it.
No.
I'm just saying James would instantly be like, he's off pitch and I can't stand
I like the fact that he seems to be stretching his voice higher register than he usually does. Maybe I'm hearing it wrong, especially during the chorus. Again, I don't think he sounds anything like Ian Gillan, don't get me wrong, but I like the fact like young Ian Gillan would sometimes go for something that you don't think he'd be able to do. Same thing with Bruce Dickinson. I just think he uses voice very differently on this album. Yeah, and I think he has done since, and Sea of Madness is a perfect example of that. And Heaven Can Wait too. Wayne mentioned how, he's singing very quickly. That's also a little different too.
Heaven Can Wait is another song where I'm glad I got to see them perform it at least once, but they haven't touched that song in, dear Lord, I want to say, I don't even think they performed it on the Maiden England tour of 2012. I think the last time they may have played it was Somewhere Back in Time tour. It's possible. Wow, whoever talked about lightning striking twice. I mean, they definitely struck twice. That tour just like, not that they were on the brink of extinction, but that tour made them bigger than they ever were.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. But I love the song Heaven Can Wait. And even though I love Coheed and Cambria, I still attest to the fact that they completely stole the chanting part of Heaven Can Wait for their song in Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3. If you listen to the outro of that song, they do the whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, wait a minute. They ripped them off Maiden. I'm out to do a comparison like on TikTok. Those seem to get
if you steal, it's still from the best. Anyway, go ahead.
There you go. Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. Great song. I love the entire song, but I have to say my favorite part of the song are the guitar parts when they're harmonizing, like right at the end. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just something about that is. The guitars on this album sound so different compared to past Maiden. I mean, they're produced, but I don't want to say they're overproduced. They're definitely not raw, but there's just something about them that just makes them. I don't know. I hear it and it's like it just resonates with me as a guitar player. Like that's a sound I wish I could get. Like I love it. Okay, now unpopular opinion. Stranger in a Strange Land is my least favorite song on the album. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I could do without it, but I like it.
You wouldn't skip it if you're listening to the album.
Some days I will, some days I won't. Deja Vu is my favorite song on the record.
You've been here before, huh?
Wayne, I'm gonna come over there. Behave yourself. Probably I'm not saying it's the greatest contribution Dave Murray ever made, songwriting wise to Maiden, but it's definitely my favorite. So, and the fact that it's different than most Maiden songs because it's not in E, it's not in A, and it's not in D, it's in C sharp. They finally use a different tuning than what they're used to, or maybe than what Steve Harris is used to, but don't tell him I said that. And of course, Alexander the Great, my patrida, my people.
Yeah. That's the only reason why you like it.
Hey, it's a killer song. No, and honestly, I would love to see them perform it live. So all in all, Somewhere in Time is my second favorite Iron Maiden record ever, right after Killers.
Wow, you guys feel it's one of the strongest. I agree with you, but I was surprised that you guys like it as much as you did. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, no. Curious to hear what Greg and James' opinion would have been on it.
Greg loves the album, actually, because we discussed this on a previous last year, one of our episodes last year of Screams from the Grave.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I remember getting, when I was in school, what grade was I in? Maybe fourth grade or something like that. I had a friend, and I guess his brother listened to metal, and he, brought the cassette over the house one day, and that's how I got into it. Actually, because I didn't have the cassette. I just took his cassette and I made a copy of it, and then I drew the artwork. Because remember, like back in the day, you would just draw like the artwork for the albums and stuff. So I would kind of draw Eddie and all that stuff. I wish I still had it.
This is one of the coolest looking Eddies ever.
It is.
Oh yeah,
it is the coolest.
Yeah,
one,
definitely. Yeah. They had an action figure of that Eddie, like one of the big ones. I wish I bought it at the time. Actually, I'm glad I didn't because I probably wouldn't have it now. But yeah, still,
Eddie Decker.
Yeah, I really love the album. What's it hold up to with fans' viewpoint besides us and Greg?
It's funny because when we did that Screams from the Grave show, one of the guys that was on the show with us, he did not like the album at all. He hates it.
What did he say about
it? John Costigan of Circle of Hands, right?
Yes.
Hey, John, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Wayne, you could tell him.
I said go watch the episode. I don't remember.
No, for fuck's.
I remember.
No, then you do it. I don't remember.
So John is relatively older than us. He's older than you.
Yeah, he's way older than you, man.
Oh, and he's still alive. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, he's Canadian, so I think
they
live. I think it's the maple syrup.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wayne.
They live.
So maple syrup is the secret to long life. I wrote that.
That is right. All that sugar does you good.
Fuck yeah. Anyway,
so he said that when he right around the time that this came out, he was getting more into thrash metal. So to him, Maiden, even 6 years into the recording career, were becoming passé, and he was looking for something heavier, faster, and more raw. So what came out in '86 that shook up the heavy metal landscape? Master of Puppets, Rain and Blood, Peace Sells, you take your pick. So that's how he felt about it. And listen, his opinion's valid. We're not knocking it.
No, it is valid. I'm just he's not the only person I've heard that from. Not about this album in particular, but I was getting tired of Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, name it, whoever, Ozzy Osbourne, whatever, because it wasn't matching I was looking for something heavier.
Don't know why I forgot what he said, because as soon as he said he didn't like it, I tuned him out.
That's what happens.
But
the funny thing is, when I love a band, I attach myself to them. Like, I make sure I listen to whatever it is they put out.
Well, we all three of us do. I mean, look at his look at my collection. Yeah.
I mean, like, to this day, I still listen to every new Priest or Maiden album that come out. I listen to every Animals as Leaders album that comes out, or After the Burial.
But we're unusual fans in that. What I mean by that is, if you and I went to go see Iron Maiden, and they played nothing but deep cuts, the three of us would be thrilled, and everyone around us would be bitching.
This is true.
Yeah, I saw them when they played the what the hell's that name of that album? The one with the skull, the tank on
the Matter of Life and Death.
Yes, I saw that, and everybody was just standing there. The whole
you were at that tour, the Nassau Coliseum?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have
been. Was I?
It was Nassau.
It was Nassau.
Was it Nassau?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that one. It was cool. I liked it because I liked the new albums. But
I did. I would have loved it. I didn't see that, but I would have loved it.
Yeah.
It was different.
Yeah, but
people exploded once they wanted to play the older stuff. People were going nuts. So.
Oh my God. Okay, Wayne. This is how I'll know we're at the same concert. Did somebody have a Play Classics sign that Bruce ripped up?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay, because I remember that. I actually have a bootleg of that concert, and somebody did that. I remember going out for a smoke break at that concert, and some guy was like, "I don't get it, man. I paid to see Iron Maiden. I don't want to hear the new album. I want to hear Run to the Hills. I want to hear the Trooper."
They told you what the tour was.
I'm like, dude, they kind of warned us what the tour was going to be, and if you wanted to hear those songs, you should have been to their previous tours. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you're right," and he walked away, and I'm like, what an idiot.
It's not. I mean, we're using Iron Maiden, but I've heard people like Elton John or Paul McCartney, and we're not even talking about the same genre of music that, they play a new song and the audience makes a beeline to the bathroom or get beer. I think that sucks because I like my artists. A matter of fact, I don't like that bands don't record new music. I wish when the Police toured, they had made a new album behind it, but that's me,
Right.
or anybody, anybody,
See, that's
but
interesting you make that point, because I'm glad I got to see the Police play their old stuff because I had never seen them. However,
were you at that show too at the Giant Stadium?
no, I was at the Garden.
All right, I was at Giants.
But knowing now what I didn't know then, I appreciate the album cuts that much more because I know they won't play them. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I mean I was just using them for an example. Don't get me wrong. If I had an opportunity to go, I would have been there in a heartbeat. I just didn't get a chance to go, but I just think it's interesting. I think we're unusual fans. I mean, obviously, there's a pocket of us that buy new albums from new artists, but I think we're unusual in that aspect. But again, I've said a million times, I don't think we're just metal fans or music fans that have like,
Absolutely. And I hey Wayne, totally off topic, but my eye keeps wandering to that head behind you, and on my little phone screen, it looks like King Diamond. Is it King? Just wondering.
Yes, it is King Diamond. I made him.
You made the King Diamond?
Well, he was going to be a Halloween decoration.
Oh, okay.
Outside, and I never really got around to finishing it, so I just left him down here.
By the way, did you see King Diamond's new look?
Yeah, I like it. I think it's
cool. I dig it too. I like it too.
And cool. Murphy says, love it. Second fave, just under Power Slave. And he also says he bought Somewhere in Time the day it came out.
And he also said he stuck down in the front row of the stage and almost got crushed. Yngwie opened up.
Yeah, that was the same tour that Vinnie Vincent actually opened up a couple of dates, and then he had to cancel his performance one night because his instruments got confiscated by a previous bandmate who said he stole them from my my warehouse.
I saw Vinnie Vincent opening for Alice Cooper.
I'm sorry,
Cooper. I was 86. I was excited because Alice came back is wearing makeup and the whole 9 yards. And Vinnie Vincent, and I got to the front because I love Alice, and like I was so pissed that it was Vinnie Vincent. I took off my shoe and threw it.
That's something an old man would do.
I was 16. I was pissed. I'm like, I just wanted to see Alice. I've been waiting my whole life. Who is this guy? I mean, I knew who Vinnie Vincent was, but I was pissed. I couldn't believe I got so mad at an opening act just because I wanted to see the headliner. Looking back.
Well, I mean, I feel bad that you had to sit through those piercing, annoying, shrieking, long-winded guitar solos. I mean, say what you will about Yngwie. I could listen to Yngwie. I can't listen to Vinnie.
Interesting to listen to. Vinnie's talented, but yeah, everything was like what I remember. And I actually bought his solo albums. Were they Vinnie Vincent Invasion and All Systems Go?
Yeah.
All Systems Go is terrible. Vinnie Vincent Invasion is just fun to listen to because it's so ridiculous, I didn't realize because when I saw the concert, I didn't own the album at the time. We're off topic. But the guy singing on is a guy named Robert Fleshman. I didn't know that.
He used to sing in Journey.
When I saw him live, it was Mark Slaughter. I didn't know the guy's name. I didn't know Mark Slaughter from, anybody. But the vocals is what I remember. It was so piercing, It was horrible. Anyway.
I like Mark Slaughter.
I like Slaughter.
I heard he's a very nice guy.
Did you see him live, Wayne? Have you seen Slaughter?
I heard they're very bad live. Yeah.
Even if it's the vocals, dude. It's
Now his voice is shot, but he does voice acting.
Well, it sounded like a cat's nuts were being stepped on. It was awful. Anyway,
to answer your question though, most guys that I grew up with who are my age referred to Somewhere in Time. At the time when I asked them, they said it was their favorite Maiden album. So, I think that's it's. I mean, I think it rightfully belonged on Screams from the Grave, because with the exception of one song, Maiden never performs anything from this. and which is a shame because it's such a great album.
Definitely is.
Yeah, it is. That is a shame. I need to grab a bootleg from that tour or something. Anyway, love the album. Wayne?
Devil Dozer says Vinnie Vincent looks like a chick these days. What the
He
fuck?
looks like Janet from the Three's Company.
More like Janet's grandmother, not Janet.
Yeah, Janet's grandmother, yes.
Yeah.
All right, we're ranking these albums. What are we ranking? Turbo. Manny.
7.
7.
7 for me as well. Wow, we only have 7. And Iron Maiden. Manny.
I'll give it a 9.
Lou.
10.
I'm giving it a 10 as well. So
Maiden wins this one.
it's like Maiden won again.
Yeah, but this was almost no contest.
This was like Jerry Cooney Jr. going against Mike Tyson. One hit out.
Yeah.
Now, if we would have did the Ram It Down and Turbo,
and
yes.
neither one of those
that would
still
be-
could not have beaten his album.
I'm saying wait one episode until we get to the possibility of a Priest album winning.
I don't think it's happening.
I have actually, I think I've voted for a Judas Priest album every time except the first time, I think.
Yeah, but they haven't won.
And I don't have James here, so it'd be me and James.
Actually,
But this one, no.
Priest won Stained Class so far,
Yes.
right?
No, they won Stained Class and they won last week.
I think they won Screaming, didn't they? Or no?
Yeah, it was last week.
No, I think what?
Where's my notes?
Oh, they did. That's right. Okay, so Priest got 2, Maiden got 4.
And I think Defenders would have won, I think, if
It didn't have those last 2 songs on.
So Iron Maiden, same title, won. Iron Maiden Killers won. Judas Priest Stained Class won. Iron Maiden Peace of Mind won, and Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance. And now this week is Iron Maiden Somewhere in Time.
By the way, Eric Adams wants me to tell everyone on the show, especially Greg, that we're all miserable bastards.
Why is he saying that?
Because he says you can't do 2 albums of Judas Priest versus 1 album of Iron Maiden.
Why? It's fair because Iron Maiden's better.
No, Judas.
No, it's not a matter of that. No, it's not a matter of that. You know who's better than both of them? Motorhead. No, just kidding. I do love Motorhead, but
I love Motorhead.
All right. So what's next week's show?
Ram It Down versus Seventh Son of a Seventh Son.
I wonder what's going to win that one.
Should we even bother doing that one?
All right. What do you give Ram It Down, Manny?
2.
Lou?
1 for Blood Red Skies.
Oh, yeah, it is a good song.
We'll wait till next week.
Yeah,
but,
we'll wait till that.
Actually,
we just spoiled it.
Lou, you or maybe you or Wayne, you guys said this is supposed to be a double album. I kind of remember that.
I remember so
that.
too.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Ram It Down part of that, or was
Yes.
this songs or?
So I actually have it on a playlist here. These are the songs that were supposed to combine Twin Turbos. So you have side 1, which is all 9 tracks from Turbo.
All right.
Side 2 was supposed to have been All Fired Up, which was a bonus track released on the 2011 remaster of Turbo.
I don't remember that song.
Red, White, and Blue, which is on the re-release of British Steel. Prisoner of Your Eyes, which is on the re-release of Screaming for Vengeance.
Oh, Christ.
Turn on Your Light, which is on the re-release of Defenders of the Faith. And off the album Ram It Down, Hard as Iron, Love You to Death, and Monsters of Rock. Heart of a Lion, which was never released by Priest until it appeared in demo format on Metallurgy. However, they gave the song to Racer X, and it appeared on their Second Heat album. And Halford actually did a version of that song on Live Insurrection, which was his first live solo album with his band Halford. There are 2 other songs that were never released. And those songs are called Under the Gun and Fighting for Your Love. So even with Twin Turbos, I still say Somewhere in Time would have won.
Definitely, but Twin Turbos actually would have brought the album down, in my opinion, because a lot of those songs Red, White, and Blue or whatever. They can stick that song up their ass. What was the other one?
Prisoner of Your Eyes.
Yeah, they can stick that one up their ass too.
However, let me say that I think Heart of a Lion is probably the greatest song Priest ever wrote that they never released officially, like a studio version. I love the Racer X version of it. I love the Halford version of it. And to me, the demo, I'm just like, oh, I would have loved to have heard Priest do it.
Sounds incomplete. It sounds like what it is. It's a demo. It sounds like a working demo. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't really sound that different than Racer X's version, and Racer X's version was complete.
Yeah, but Racer X probably had a budget of like $200 to record that album because they were on Shrapnel Records.
This is true. I think that if Shrapnel had Roadrunner's budget, they would have been a bigger label.
Oh, absolutely. Did you ever hear that Steeler album with Ron Kill and Yngwie?
I did.
Yeah, so I don't know if Yngwie's telling the truth or not, but basically he said they just pressed their demos and threw it out there. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. But.
Well, Yngwie also kind of poo-poo stuff that wasn't 100% his involvement. And Steeler really wasn't his band. It was a band that he joined.
Yeah, I think he wrote one piece of music on there.
Yeah, there was something to do with visa issues where he really wasn't allowed to play rhythm on it. So he was kind of ghost credited as a soloist. So that's not him doing the rhythm guitars. He's only doing the leads.
Well, that makes sense because there's a lot of songs like, wow, I've never heard him play like that. And it turns out I haven't. Anyway, so.
Mega69.com. Tired of being alone? We'll help you.
Yay! When?
Tired of being alone? You'll help me be alone? Okay, thanks. Go away.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It just never stops.
But yeah, I mean, I do love Heart of a Lion. And there's one other thing that I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
The B-sides that Maiden released during Somewhere in Time, I definitely bring this album up a notch.
What were the B-sides? I don't even know.
There was a song called Reach Out that when Adrian Smith and Nico were on break from Maiden, they did a band called The Entire Population of Hackney, which basically consists of old members of Adrian's old, former band Urchin with Andy Barnett of the band FM.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That was a song that they did, and Maiden covered it. It was one of the two B-sides on the Wasted Years single. The other song they did was called The Sheriff of Huddersfield, which is sort of a knock on their manager, Rod Smallwood. And again, Adrian wrote the music for this because he used to be an Urchin song called Life in the City. So they made it all about Rod Smallwood, and it was making fun of him. And you hear Bruce doing the Yorkshire accent. It's pretty funny. On the Stranger in a Strange Land single, the B-sides were Juanita, which was a cover. Funny song about a dirty girl.
Yeah.
And there was also a song called That Girl, which Andy Barnett wrote for the band FM. So you have two versions of one song. One's like a pop rock version that FM did, and Iron Maiden's version. Iron Maiden's version is just like, wow, if this is Maiden writing a pop song, it would have hit number one. It was that good. Like that's how highly I think of it. So, again, the quality of production, the quality of songs, the musicianship, it was there. It definitely peaked here, in my opinion, for Maiden.
Wow. Well, FM is like really respected with their ARO sound overseas. Over here, nobody cares about them. Anyway, Wayne,
I think
it's
that's
a shame.
It is a shame. But you know what's not a shame?
What's that?
We'll be back next week
with Ram It Down.
And
that's the shame.
That is a shame.
And Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. What's going on with you, Lou? Any shows coming up?
Well, I just actually did an interview Monday with a company called Moneybag Sodas. Okay. You want to take an idea who's the brand ambassador for this?
Somebody we would know.
Somebody from a band that we love, respect, and covered two of their songs. Mr. Gene Simmons of Kiss.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yes. I had to thank Michael Brandvold of that. And Michael, I'm sorry. Normally, it doesn't take me 2 months to edit one episode, but it's been a very trying 2 months. Other than that, I'm going on vacation tomorrow with the family, so looking forward to going to Dutch Wonderland. Hopefully, running into our bass player George. So,
where you staying?
What's that?
Where are you staying?
I'm not telling you.
What room number?
Room 213 with my bunkmate Jeffrey Dahmer. Anyways,
very cool.
And other than that, just I have no life. This has become my playground right here.
That is
these three things right here.
And I don't have any. Actually, no, I have Mike from Metal Thrashing Nerd Podcast, and what's the name of his band? Infernal something. I'm sorry, I forgot. Infernal Tyrant.
It's not Tungsten, is it?
No, it's not Tungsten. Infernal Tyrant. His episode will be on Friday, and we had a lot of fun. We talked about some wrestling and his new album that he has out in his podcast and stuff like that. So it'll be a lot of fun. That should be on Friday. And Manny, you got a new podcast or anything coming on?
No, not at all.
Not yet. All right.
No, but I have a friend. It's from a female perspective, and she's got a podcast called Chin Up, Tits Out. It's pretty funny, and
I like it already.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, and it's three ladies, and they have a good rapport, and it's definitely not metal centric or even music centric. But if you want something different from a women's point of view, check it out.
Go check that out. Please.
It's on Spotify.
And tell them that we sent you.
There is one podcast there I want to give a shout out to. So a couple of years ago, when I was driving Uber and making good extra coin from it, as I was preparing ideas for my own podcast, there was a bunch of them that I discovered that I really loved. One of them was one called Talking Maiden that involved two chaps from Newfoundland, Canada. And they really went into great detail on talking about the Maiden albums. They did interviews with Blaze Bailey. Great podcasts. And I think their last episode was about Senjutsu. So, it was really, nothing to talk about from the time they recorded their last episode up until now. But their episodes are still up. So I suggest if you want to, listen to a good Iron Maiden centric podcast, listen to Talking Maiden.
Well, yeah.
We sent you. All right. I guess that's it for tonight. Maiden wins. Will Maiden win next week?
Yes.
Find out tomorrow. Find out next week.
Find out tomorrow. Find out now. The answer is yes.
Find out a few seconds ago.
All right, everybody. See ya.
Right.
And remember, don't waste your time always searching for those wasted demonies.
Bye. We just got to stand here and make it look like it's the end of the show. Okay, I think that's good.